Hi everyone. This feels like Saturday. Good morning. Hi guys. Listen, I wanted to set this up for a discussion. Uh, yeah, well, Clyde, thank you very much, YouTube, for screwing everything up. But so it's sort of open right now. Okay, sorry about that. Uh, so anyway, so listen, everybody. If you're not part of the group that's getting a watch, none of this discussion may be relevant to you. And so, a lot of the information we have involves fairly private kind of stuff. And I don't feel offended. It's my fault because I couldn't figure out how to have the stupid thing sort of as a private one where the people in the group could talk. So anyway, so don't feel bad. All right. But we're just going to talk about, getting some of the problems we ran into. Why don't we have the videos? Because I don't know how to do it through WhatsApp yet, Jay Calla. And as soon as I figure it out, I'll try to have that. Okay. Um, I've worked with YouTube a lot, but I've never everything's always been public. Uh, so hey Don, how's LA? So this is sort of the only thing I can do, and I feel bad because there 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 ended up we ended up with a lot more people than I expected, which is a good thing because that'll help us cut down the cost for everybody. And but it's hard to juggle, and I've got to work out a system where I can better communicate with everyone. Right now on WhatsApp, I mean, we have the kind of security we want, but I'm not sure how how we how we can do it so we can have a sort of a wide ranging talk. One of the other things I might be able to do is set up a new uh, a new Facebook page, but then a lot of people don't have Facebook. They don't like Facebook. It's always something. And of course, we're in the middle of a bank holiday, and then there's another 2-day holiday after that. So we're just sort of paddling up as fast as we can. But the good part is all kinds of other things are going incredibly well. We're going to have a bespoke movement, and which is and we have these really great other people, and on tomorrow I'm going to be calling uh, the the people who are going to be doing the case as well as the dial and hands. And then I'm going to set them up or say, look, there's some show, and I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find it. There's a name of a. Let me see. There's a name of a. Not that's not it. Um, Let me see. I know I have it somewhere. One second, please. And I'll put it up here, and we can all look at it and talk about it. Hang on a sec. Um, okay. Yeah.
movements. Let me see. EP. Okay. Yeah, I know, Thomas. You're hyped. I think we all are. This was so complex. Though, here's what I keep thinking. God, I guess it's been over a year now. I was in Dresden, Germany, talking with Rolf Lang, and he was talking about this and that. I said, maybe what we could do is to have well, I can take a watch back, one of the sample watches back, and I can pass it around to people in all across the country, and then we can talk about it on Facebook. Well, after I did that, I thought, "Oh, my God, here we got a $22,000 watch, and you talk about bespoke. He changed it from a normal kind of regulator to a marine chronographer regulator. Just one little change, but the that was something. So we sent it around, and at first it was 12 people, and we were going to do it for a year. Well, but one other person wanted to get into it. We added him. Then Rolf got in touch with me. Hey, someone wants to buy our watch. So I sent it back to him, and he sold it to the guy who had requested it. It was something that I didn't. I was worried, sweating bullets for the whole thing because I thought, oh, that's all that's got to happen is that, the thing gets lost somehow, but it worked out great. And I feel the same way about this one. It hasn't been easy. None of us have done this before. Um, I mean, I've done a lot of complex kinds of things in publishing, but nothing in the watch world. But there's some similarities, and I think the big thing is paying attention to what's important. And not get distracted. And of course, when I can't get the technology working the way I want to for communication, then that's a little frustrating. But we'll work through it. Um, so anyway, the yeah, I'll work on the WhatsApp video. I don't know how that's going to work as a group. I can't even make a group on WhatsApp, and because if you go to if I when I write my own software, it works just the way I want to. At this when somebody else writes it, God knows if those what they're thinking, but other people can figure it out. So I guess I can. Um, but anyway, so we're rolling along with our project, and the first stage is the pre-study stage that Agenhort has to do. There's a meeting at a place called uh, EPHJ, and I'm trying to think. I've got their link here somewhere. Um, and what I'm going to do, I think, I oh, here it is. Yeah, this is what I want right here. This is uh, this is a place right here. This link, and this is the if we only knew someone who helped us invent the internet. Hey, listen, I did work on streaming video 20 years ago when it was just getting started, and we had to write all of our own code for it. And it became first it was Macromedia, and then they were bought by Adobe. And YouTube is actually using one of the technologies I worked on. But see, the thing was that if you write your own code, you know how to do everything. But we had a lot of neat things we did. We'd bring up web pages. We'd do all kinds of stuff that I haven't seen in this other one. And it probably has to do with, we were burning what little, relatively speaking, stuff we had. Uh, bandwidth. We just didn't have the bandwidth back then that we have now. And I was at my university. We had both internet too, which most people don't even have never heard of, plus we had the chair of our department got a gigabit speed. So I mean, we had everything, but as soon as I left my office, back to other kinds of things. So it's like and then the other thing, this whole thing was international finance. It turns out to be uh, not as difficult as I feared, and so that's working out pretty well too. Um, yeah, it was, Thomas. It was really crazy, but we had it. Um, what I would do if I were at home and I uploaded a video, for example, because we had a lot. Also, too, we were starting to do a hybrid kind of education. Uh, and so we'd have a video we'd upload and so forth. If I did it at work, that thing would just go whoop, it went, and that was that. If I did it at home back then, it was like very slow. So anyway, these are some of the things we're dealing with, and a lot of people are feeling very frustrated right now. Uh, including me, with certain things. But we if we're patient with everything, things will work out. And that's pretty much where we are. But I wanted to, a lot of people were rightfully so too. I provided some information, and then we go into all of this stuff. They didn't give me all the information I needed. I finally updated it so that there is that information. But what I want is like one place I can put the information, everybody can access it, and it's very easy to do with Facebook. With WhatsApp, they have these little things you form and get everybody involved in that. And, it's just different. So it's going to take a little while. Fortunately, this first sort of stage, which is going to be that we have to pay for, is a pre-study. And this, as soon as they're back from this thing right here, the EPHJ, and so this is fortunately we couldn't have picked a better time, because what I'll be able to do is to contact Voutilanen and Kalin about the cases and get the name of a person who's going to be at that EPHJ show and say, look, uh, Agenhor is going to have one or more reps there, and they'd like to set up a meeting with you. So, and then I'll put them into contact with each other. So it'd be Voutilanen and Kalin and Medellin. One of the things that I'm probably more excited about than anything, I mean, other than the fact that we're going to have a bespoke movement from Agenhor, is Medellin. There's something about them that to me is really wild. I was reading an article about Philippe Dufour, and he had, if you get the simplicity, uh, there are different versions. The one I was looking at, though, it was either simplicity or duality. I think it was the simplicity, though, and it was one with a Roman numeral on the dial, and then at the bottom it said Medellin, and in the article it was talking about how Philippe Dufour said, I didn't do the dial. I'm leaving it. They did it, so I'm leaving your name on there. And that's the same way I feel about here. We're going to have Agenhor. They made the movement. People can see that, and the people I'm talking about are watch people. I mean, people who collect or buy watches. There's going to be no surprises, and we're not going to have one of these phony baloney things that say, we did this, we didn't do anything. Well, we did, but I mean, we we were not part of the watchmaking process itself. However, we helped, in the sense that we said, okay, this is what we'd like, and we ended up with I exactly, with what we want in every level, from the base to the top is by Agenhor. It's not something that, put something on top of an ETA or anything like that. So it's a very, uh, solid, fun kind of thing in that respect. So and then here we have right in the middle of all of this stuff going on with the God, we had this terrible. hurricane that we thought it was over back in Louisiana, but came all the way up here, and a lot of people were died in this flooding that they had, and so there's just sort of a lot of chaos, and I want it to be, so just sort of like, well, that's we have to deal with that, but I mean, like, we're not out bailing water or anything like that, so I hope not anyway. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're doing now on it, and like I said, I'm going to try to have something so that those of us who are working on this project can. What for those of you who who are on the project, I'm gonna put this. In fact, I already did. I already sent it to you when we first got in there. This link to the EPHI. This will give you a better idea, I think, of the kinds of complexities that they have to deal with that we're totally unaware of. I mean, if watchmaking to the pretentious watchmakers is usually slapping together getting a case, putting in a movement, putting a dial and hands on it, and Bob's your uncle. It's all done. We're watchmakers. It's got nothing like that. It's this tooling. It's hiring people to do different parts, and it's all kinds of stuff. So we're trying to we're trying to get we're trying to understand it at the same time. Let me tell you something too. For those who are involved in this, you're going to know more about watches than you ever, if you think you know about watches and watchmaking. I think you're going to find out that there is so much more to it. At least I am. Maybe you're not. Maybe I'm the only one that's sort of like, oh, gee, I never knew they did that. But and which I think it will help us appreciate the watch a lot more than just you know heading for the AD and you know yeah, Thomas. You see, this is the other thing, Thomas. They're going to be able to get, the kind of detailed information at one place at one time, and it's very current information. And we happen to that's that information they need, and we just happen to come along, fat, dumb, and happy, saying we want to watch, and so they're gonna be able to coordinate it all together, which I think is just, we're very fortunate in that way. I think we're unfortunate having a guy who doesn't know how to have a private live, and some of the other kinds of the financial things you know that just happened in a strange way, but then things start working out. So I thought that was sort of cool. I mean, whenever something starts working out, and usually that happens, for patient. And a lot of guys have been very hopeful too. And we have one lady, one woman working. She's part of a duo, and that's sort of cool too. And so we're not a bunch of misogynists or anything like that. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of I don't know. I guess at least temporary frustrations as we try to stumble through all of this. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to do here I am blabbing away, and what I'm trying to blab away on is some of the questions I've been asked. But of the guys who are involved in the program, is there anything I can talk about, sort of, for the world to know? The other part where, where we all we go, we're really a satanic cult. We have all of this stuff. No, are there any questions that you have about anything that we could deal with now? By the way, too, tomorrow, Monday the 6th, is the last day for anyone who wants to get involved with this. And if you do, shoot me an email, and I'll give you the information to get in contact with us, and the secret handshake and everything else we have. Okay. Uh, Hi, loose tooth. Dumb question. Are there mock-ups on dials? Oh, that's not a bad question. You know, Um, eh, I think there should be, that's not a bad idea. I had thought about that loose tooth, and, that's one thing that we can do is that I'll ask the guys at, Agonor if they could, like, show us something that, because here's the complicated part of the loose tooth is that we have the dial at, the sub-dial at 8 o'clock or somewhere in that vicinity, and, um, I I the ones that I saw that I liked were the ones that, Dufour had and some of these, Kerry Vuitton, and they have these nice big sub-dials rather than these little bitty ones you can't read anyway, and so I thought, well, let's have something like that, but we have some other things too. Is that sometimes when you do that, you have to either bury a number or clip it and some things like that, which gives it a certain kind of personality that I don't think you have otherwise. I mean, I don't want this thing to look like a schoolroom clock at all. So, but I like that idea though. Okay, great. I Okay, our future WhatsApp interactive video chats, we can collaborate on case, dial, hand designs, and vote. Um, yeah, Jay, there's we've already had a lot of decisions we made to get people involved in the first place, so we've got to be, we have to respect that, okay? Um, and so, I think we wanna have some the last thing I wanna have is something that, like I said, that looks like a schoolroom clock or looks like every other watch. On the one hand, I wanna have something that is like, yeah, it looks like a luxury watch. I mean, a really good luxury watch, a really classy one, but not at the same time someone says, "Oh, I've seen that on X, Y, and Z." And so it becomes a little more complicated than that. And also too, and this is gonna be important, we want to have the input by these the dial maker. You say, look, here's some things that we were thinking about. What do you think? And that's why I think Loose Tooth had a good point. He's saying, could we see a couple of renderings, just something with this with certain features, and then we could look at it and get a better idea. But you know, uh, there were certain decisions we made. For example, we are going to have Arabic numbers rather than Roman numbers, and there's some other things like that. We wanted teardrop lugs and those things, but then there's a lot of other details that we have to work out. On our future WhatsApp interactive video chats, we can collaborate on case style and designs. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have them when you're not around, Jay Calla. This is something that um, I really, what I would like to get from the, I wish they had a catalog. And they said, "Yeah, here's some ideas," and then we could look at the catalog and say, "Oh, we like this, not so much this, we like this." For example, one of the things I saw, and this isn't in a catalog, was in the, uh, I think it was in the Simplicity. I was looking at a close-up of the sub-dial, and it sort of was indented downward, and, there are 2 things about that. One, it looks cool. The other thing, though, is that the hour hand can more easily pass over the sub-dial, and so you don't have to worry about them banging into each other. Believe me, having being a pretentious watchmaker of note in my own mind, um, that could be a problem. Hi, Kaz, how you doing? Can we ask them for a list of dials and hands they've already designed? Yeah, this is something, Clyde, that was what I had in mind. Yeah, but see, okay, you want to bring a classic 1747. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice classy watch. I agree. But I don't want it to look like that, if you understand. I have a couple watches that a lot of people said, "Those, those are great, really great fonts." One's on my Vacheron Constantin 1921, and the other one is on my uh, uh, the Jurgensen, Urban Jurgensen, 2240. Well, they're pretty much the same fonts. And I think, something just, I like that idea. And the same thing, they may be on the classic too. Um, but there's something to something that has that feel to it, like on the Classique. The Classique has a feel to it, but not something that looks like the Classique. So if somebody sees our watch, they'll say, "Yeah, hey, that's those guys that went out and had one made themselves." It's a bespoke watch. It's a very limited one. That was one of the things that the guys at Agenhor were saying, this is going to be a limited edition, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's becoming less limited because we our numbers are getting up there, which is a good thing because that means a lot of the prices once we get a solid number, and that the solid number will be as soon as we all chip in for the first round. Anybody who doesn't, that's okay, but no one's going to come back after that simply because we can't run a railroad that way, so to speak. Uh, no, no, Clyde. That's in fact that's the last thing we want to do. Okay, Lucy, have you considered lacquer filled Arabic numerals? No, and I'll tell you why, loose tooth. Uh, we're looking at something that's really good, but not going to be really expensive. And what you're talking about is expensive on in a lot of ways. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean we got to look at this realistically. Here we're trying to get a watch under $7,500, and they say, "Oh, by the way, would you mind doing all these other things?" That's just not going to fly, and so we've got to be careful about that because I'd rather have something spent on having the very best element of the movement than saying, "Oh, well, let's try this and let's try, all of these fancy things that somebody else has done." And it doesn't really, I think, takes away from sort of the smooth simplicity of things. And I say that just, not as a criticism of any ideas because they're great ideas, but it's like, oh, we thought we'd like to do it, try to get it done this millennium. And that's another thing too. You start adding all these little things, and suddenly the time thing is all thrown off. And we have to consider that. Uh, okay, let's see. Join. What email should I write to? Capital. Just send it to me. I'll put it up for you. No loose tooth, no berets. God, we're trying to make a classy watch. All right. Yeah, Kimono one, we have talked about brigade hands. That was another thing we thought we wanted too. I had an idea though that we might consider, and that sort of have okay, let me see, classic, where was it? Capital 75, whatever those numbers are. Uh, I just put in my email. Okay, so you can shoot one there. The case you should be stamped with goats. Yeah, we'll have a goat hoof on the back. Stomp it. Man, I tell you, we're getting a bunch of apples now, and I usually go down there and all the goats come running up to the fence, and I give them some apples that fell off the apple tree. Well, we've got these stupid deer now. These all these deers that come in. So, oh boy, it's apple picking time. So they're coming and eating up all the goats' apples. Anyway, um, yeah, brigade hands. Let me tell you one of the things I thought we might try with the brigade hands. We don't have to. We can just go with regular brigade hands, and that's sort of have a half a brigade hand and have one with a brigade apple on it, poem, on it, and then have the other one straight. And so then we'd have the observatory hands. The good thing about the observatory hands, I've learned. This is retrograde. The thing I learned about that is like super easy to tell the time. You see the big apple, and you say, ah, that's the hour hand. Then you see this other little skinny one, and that's oh, hey, that's the minute hand. Oh, anyway. Okie doke. Well, listen, guys. Jesus. All right, guys. Listen, we're not. I'm not going to eat the deer, Clyde. Um, but these are things that we really that we that we're gonna that we need a place that we can talk where those are the people those who are involved in this and I've got nothing about we're having to do it public, but there, like I said, there are a lot of things that involve financial transfers and things like that that I think are best handled on security like WhatsApp. My comment about the 1747 subdial, and decide on numerals that everyone likes. Well, yeah, we'll see about that, Jake. Jay, I keep calling you Jake. Yeah, the thing of it is that um, we have to really consider stuff. All right, I mean, not just I like this and this is what I want. I'm going to raise my hand. If we don't look at all of the other aspects of it, I think we could end up in a jam. I think one of the things that Clyde said, that's a good point. Let's take a look and see what they have. Um, so, yeah, I know I like the numeral four too, but I mean, it's sort of like that's everyone's got that numeral four. So we'll see. Okay, we will. I'll try to get another chat going that we can all use, and try to get it right. Any other questions that you have, you can contact me on WhatsApp. If you want to join, use the email that I put there, and you can contact me, and I'll send you the information where to talk to us on WhatsApp. Okay, doke. Thanks, guys. Sorry I screwed it up. We'll try to get it better next time. Take care.